Welcome back to the North American LCS. I'm Remington Bisson III, and joining me for our first two games is Joshua Jat Leesman. We're going to be starting it off with Team Curse versus Evil Geniuses. And for Curse, they will be looking to rebound after an 80-minute loss to Complexity just yesterday.
Yeah, and Riv, we think about that. They basically played 2 games of League of Legends yesterday.
Yes, they did.
Everyone's been involved in incredibly long league games, and they're actually never that enjoyable when they go that long to play. It's even worse when you lose. Yeah. So the fact that they have to recover from that on day 2 is going to be a big mental task for them. A couple fun facts, though, that came out of that marathon. We mentioned it in the pregame, but Quas made it through that entire 80-minute game without dying a single time on Gragas, and also got the record for 691 CS as a top laner in a game, which I don't think is going to get broken anytime soon.
Nope, good old Quas. But Evil Geniuses are having their own struggles, sitting in last place now with a 6-game slump.
And the worst part about yesterday, Riv, is last split we referred to Pobelter as a wild card because he was hit or miss. And this split, he kind of reformed himself into a much more consistent player until the game yesterday, where he ended up dying multiple times in lane to High's Yasuo. So as a whole, Evil Geniuses, they have been adjusting to players. They've had a lot of close games. You could almost look at it like they've had a little bit of bad luck. But the fact is now they're 3 games back from 7th place, and they have some real work to do to climb in the standings, and they can't get down on themselves. It's just been a really tough year for them.
Right, and for the 2 Korean players in the NA LCS, Seraph and Helios have struck up a friendship through their shared connection, and they occasionally take time to enjoy the sweeter side of living and playing in Los Angeles.
할리우드 처음 갔을 때 TV에서만 보던 곳에 내가 이렇게 리그 오브 레전드를 한다는 것만으로 거기에 방문할 수 있는 게 되게 믿기지가 않았고 영광이었고 되게 좋은 경험을 한 것 같고 아마 다시는 할리우드에 못 갈 것 같은데 그래도 이번 기회에 재밌게 봐서 정말 좋았어요.
Welcome to Hollywood, you have arrived. Where are you from?
Korea.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
캔디샵에서 되게 좀 재밌는 것도 많이 보고
야, 이거 장난 아닌데? 이럴 수가. I want but very sexy. 너도 갖고 싶어? 너는 이거 어때, 이거?
가서 진짜 거기 거리를 걷는다는 거에 너무 기분이 좋았어요. 거기 거리도 걷고 스시도 먹고.
알랍해.
미국에 와서 우영이랑 더 친해졌고 더 기댈 수 있는 친구가 되었고 그래도 미국에 먼저 왔으니까 미국에 대한 것 좀 많이 알려주고 이런 식으로 많이 교류를 한 것 같아요.
트위터 어떻게 하는지 모르겠던데 막 그 뭐지? 막 리트윗하고 그런 거 있잖아. 그거 안 해줘도 되는 거지 굳이? 상관없어.
우영이를 막 죽이고 뭐 해도 별로 신난다 이런 게 아니라 이 게임을 이기기 위한 수단일 뿐. 이제 이지랑 게임을 하다 보면은 항상 뭔가 이때쯤이면은 올 것 같은데 라고 생각이 들면은 항상 동진이 형 반박자 빨리 와서 뭔가 되게 힘들어요 할 때.
And it is once again Helios on the move and Seraph under his turret.
There, burnout's off, can't really get the AoE damage to the rest of the team. The gold card comes in. Oh, there's heal as well. Primal Surge coming in from Link.
아직은 완벽하게 호흡 같은 게 안 맞아서 좀 못 쓰고 있는 그런 것도 있는데 시간 지나면은 확실히 긍정적으로 작용할 수 있을 것 같아요. 군대를 가기 전에 그래도 여기 이지에서 더 좋은 추억 만들고 싶고 다음 시즌에 더 좋은 성적 낼 수 있고 다음 시즌에 꼭 시즌 5 챔피언십 꼭 가고 싶어요.
Very awesome to see 2 players able to connect outside of their home, now in a new home, and playing together. I think one of the biggest things in players in that situation is how they take a situation if it comes good or bad, and how they move on after that.
And there's going to be a big moment for Helios as this season progresses, whether they can climb out of that 8th and 7th place spot to get to 6th.
That's right. We're going to get right into the game. Let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it is going to be Curse. That means it's Quas in the top lane, Dominate in the jungle, Voyboy in mid, Cop with a white shirt on AD now, and Xpecial on support.
Slowly but surely, Curse is becoming unbeatable. On the red side, there's EvilGeniuses, Innox in the top lane, Helios in the jungle, Pobelter in mid lane, Altec on AD, and Krepo on support.
A lot of cheers coming out for both teams. A lot of love coming out for both as well. We'll have to see what the voting is after Champion Select, because that has shown us quite a bit lately. And a lot of teams have taken a turn for Yasuo or AD carry compositions, or maybe even a Rise plus another AP comp coming back into the mix.
Yasuo has been coming up very heavily. I mean, the more we're seeing Yasuo picked without even having other knockups, just guys within the same team comp, means the more teams are respecting the general power of him. So it wouldn't be too surprising if we just see him banned a lot.
All right, well, let's see what they have for each other as we are heading into picks and bans here. Curse versus EvilGeniuses. The TF map pressure taken away immediately. No playmaking for Pobelter. Simple bans to come out. Nothing super targeted at the moment. Mid bans, we expect to see those.
Well, there's a Yasuo ban as well.
Yeah.
Morgana probably targeted at Krepo. That's actually an interesting turn of events. Xpecial really likes to play Braum.
Yeah.
And normally Krepo is completely okay with that because he can pick Morgana into it and get the black shields. At this point, they would have to play Thresh into Braum, generally speaking, which can still work, but it's not as ideal, and that's why they banned Thresh. But now, if Curse decides to first pick Braum, what's Krepo going to have left? And they don't even do that, so that's neat.
They take down Lulu. I think Lulu was banned all yesterday. Gets through today because of the situation in that Braum factor. We could see Helios locking in the Rengar immediately with Braum. We'll have to see if we get Orianna coming in for Pobelter here, or if they try to take it away on Curse.
Yeah. Just based on these picks and bans, even though Curse is still a pretty big favorite in this game, based on recent results,
right?
The trading of Lulu for a Braum Rengar, particularly when there is Morgana and Thresh already on the ban list, Braum is a spectacular support against Nami, who is generally the support people go to next, because the shield just blocks that entire tidal wave, infuriating Nami players everywhere. But it's just a really good choice right here, and I'm surprised Curse let it go through just to take Lulu.
Seems like they might just have to pick up the Nami now. See what they decide to put in.
They could try to go back to something like Sona and just play a sustain game.
Sona has been somewhat working. Easy to keep the heal up. Sustain always comes into play very nicely, as you were talking about. But looks like it's going to be the Nami cog. A little bit of safety for him, but not everything you would want.
Yeah, Cop had a pretty good Kog'Maw game yesterday.
Yeah, his living artilleries are on point. Definitely coming up with the clutch shots. Very interesting. The Mundo coming in as well. And we do see the Tristana, so we may get a few more picks for the late game.
If they do get isolated in lane, Mundo is a very strong pick against a Lulu in the top lane, just because he has so much natural health regeneration. And since Lulu is a low damage top laner to begin with, it is near impossible to cut through that Mundo ult.
Could see a Rise coming in for EG for more late game, but Curse is looking at that new jungle. Been seeing a little bit more, as we're seeing a bit of focus on the junglers now as they get hit in Champion Select bans. What has Dominate been practicing now? We usually see him drop back to a Pantheon or something of his very big wheelhouse comfort zone.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of stuff alive. Elise is still available. Nunu has been picking up a lot of steam. They've been hovering on it for a while. And Curse is one of the teams that actually hovers their picks occasionally. A lot of the other teams do the double lock-in to give the other team less time to react.
It's an interesting little game there. Some say it works, some say it doesn't.
Jeez.
I like the Orianna pickup as well. They deny it from Helios and the ball movement. Getting a nice command shockwave in from Stealth. So it helps a little bit with a good pick.
Whoa.
And they actually go for the Syndra in this matchup.
Pobelter looking to dominate that middle lane a little bit. Syndra very lane dominant champion. But really, that entire Curse team composition is about protecting Cop's Kog'Maw. Putting a lot of faith into him. He's a defensive player to begin with. Oftentimes when you run protect the AD carry compositions, it's around an aggressive AD carry who can take a lot of risks. Otherwise, sometimes you run into the unfortunate events of just not having damage to create fights. But Voyboy's Orianna has been solid enough and doing enough damage that it should be okay for Curse.
It'll be interesting to see the gameplay from Dominate. He likes to be quite aggressive. We saw him yesterday on Rengar really focusing the bottom lane, knowing he could get in and get through with a kill quickly. So we'll keep an eye on where he moves throughout the beginning. The teams are loading onto the Rift, so let's see who you think will take the win at this point. According to LOLesports.com, 74% in favor of Curse right now over Evil Geniuses as we head into your second day of Week 8.
Yeah, it's that big Evil Geniuses slump. Keep those votes coming over on Twitter. Send either hashtag CRSWin or hashtag EGWin to the @LOLesports account, and we will be checking back throughout the game to see who's got the momentum on their side.
And EG has had a very troublesome past week. Just their matchups in general have been all the top tier teams. The only one in the past 6 was Complexity. Yep. It's all Cloud9, Dig, TSM, LMQ, Cloud9.
Yeah, well, that's the tricky thing. Just about the North American schedule this year. Who do they pick up wins against, right? You have so many teams at the top, meaning you kind of have so many teams in the middle, but just the way standings work, if you have a lot of teams high in the standings, someone's got to be way in the bottom to make that happen. Otherwise, everyone would just be sitting in the middle. Like, you'd like to think that everyone's strong, and maybe everyone is strong. Maybe EG is actually a strong team, but they're just not as good as the other teams in the league, which is why they're sitting at such a lowly record with only 4 wins on.
And it's working so differently because some of the other lower teams are actually able to beat the top tier teams. So that decreases EG's chances even more when their opponents they should be having close games against are already 3 or 4 games ahead. We'll see if they can make up some ground here. Still have a good 4 more weeks left coming into the split to make something happen. So now on day 2, they face off against Curse, who, like we said, looking themselves to come out very strong off an 80-minute loss yesterday. Probably not thinking about it too much anymore, but they are thinking of how to prevent that in these situations.
1 for 1. Cop always does this. Pretty much the start of every game. He's going to run mid and practice dodge.
He's usually the first one to fire a Peacemaker when he's on Caitlyn here.
He always tries to land something. 0 for 1 as far as dodges today, though.
Yeah. Advantage Evil Geniuses. Double advantage.
Good early sweep there.
Yeah. The sweep. Known ward coming out. Slow movement for both teams. Just getting the regulars down for a standard start. This worked out for Dominate very favorably last time. We'll see if Helios tries to get in his face. Rengar-Nunu matchup. Is that, wow, 50%. Really getting quick votes in there. What are we seeing kind of from a Helios Rengar versus a Nunu? Is that something you can kind of counter jungle at all?
The strange thing about this is, yes, early game counter jungling will have a bit of an impact, but as long as they're not counter jungling the second rotation of buffs, the catch-up experience from the blue and the red would be enough. So what Dominate wants to focus on more so than counter jungling is just good vision control and good ganks.
All the objectives in the favor of Curse. They let a lot of the dragons go to the wayside yesterday for Complexity in the early game. We'll see if they change focus on that. Curse was being very risk-averse, as we've been saying lately about teams that think they can prevent a disaster by just giving away a little bit and then taking it back later.
Yeah, and they've had success, you know, in their 3-1 Super Week against the top teams in the league. Curse, by and large, didn't play super aggressively. They just played measured, and since they lose games by making mistakes, they just decided to play even more cautious. It actually worked out for them.
Still winning fights from being down in gold, just making things work. Definitely with the help of Dominate in the jungle. And this bottom lane, Cop and Xpecial, coming out pretty big for Super Week. Xpecial had a heck of amount of games for himself. We'll see what he can perform on Nami this game with Braum going to Krepo.
Yeah, that'll be a very interesting lane. 2 hyper carry, 80 carries right there. Altec, though, looks to take over games much more than Cop does. Cop will do well in games, but he will never do, like for instance, we saw Vasily's Tristana yesterday in our final match of the day. 10-0, he just took over that game. It's something we've seen Altec do on Twitch, and it's something Tristana is very capable of doing. So if EG could get a lead in that lane down bottom, it could very well break them out of their slump.
What a fast level 2 from Evil Geniuses you saw put Curse on their heels for just a quick second. Cop and Xpecial now getting back into the right zone here. Helios passing through mid, just giving a good walk in, making sure Pobelter doesn't find anything too scary. Now at the 3.5-minute mark. Not going to see any jungler pressure just yet.
Yeah, a little weird that Helios would take that move. He was sitting at 4 ferocity. You see a lot of level 3 Rengar ganks with a max ferocity bola to try and get the root on people in lane. Especially since Pobelter can land a good range stun on Syndra. That's kind of the gank they would be looking for and what Voyboy has to respect. But look how far back Voyboy is staying. Those ganks aren't really going to be possible.
He's not looking to do anything weird. 1, 2, 3 across Q, W, and E. Putting the shield on and getting dissonance. It's actually a lot harder to keep doing that for him. He'll waste mana real quick. We'll see how that lane plays out. See Altec creeping up to place a ward. More coverage from the bottom lane for them so they can stay a bit more aggressive. And Helios just trotting along. Teleport back to the top lane for Innox. Pretty even going throughout all the lanes. Not too shabby.
He's gonna sweep it. Just
Womp womp.
The warding mind game.
It's good damage onto Voyboy. Still got Ignite in mid lane. Voyboy's actually running the heal, expecting to get burst out by this Helios Pobelter composition. Smart move. We saw it keeping, I believe, Prolly safe yesterday on Ziggs. He ran the heal as well.
Yeah, if you're going to run the Protect the X composition with a lot of shields, shields and heals work pretty well with each other.
All the safety. Nice brush control by Krepo. They are warded out, so you can see Cop staying safe. But good back and forth. Xpecial making sure he can get his hits on, to get some gold built up on his generation item. We'll see if they can actually keep themselves strong. Quillcoat very early for dominating. He goes back in 5 minutes.
Early ward he'll be able to grab with that. Whereas Helios doing the Madrid's Razor. That's what every Rengar has been doing these days.
He's on the hunt now. Surprised. He's probably itching after he didn't get that gank in mid when he came in. He's like, man, I'm usually aggressive at 1 minute in the game. Now it's 5.5. See if we can get a good gank here.
Though, they're trying to get aggressive.
He's going to walk
Helios
right
needs to make it over there quickly.
into Helios. This could be perfect. He kind of alerts them
a
little too early. Yeah, walked into that. They're going to have brush control here, but Pobelter, he's already wasted his flash to get directly away from the team. They may not be able to get dominate, but he's able to jump on. Krepo and Helios know they need to retreat from this with the sustain of Xpecial. Voyboy's low on mana, but they're kind of saving face on this one, 1-for-1.
Krepo with the jump through the Dragon Pit really saved EG's skin overall there. Being able to trade the kill back. Kill ends up going to both junglers with assists on either side. That will, in the end, benefit Voyboy because he gets the minion wave experience. And you can see Pobelter kind of scratching his head there.
Little fancy feet. You're still going to take some Bio-Arcane Barrage. See if Pobelter can get back into it. Not too much CS was lost being exited to that lane. Looks like we're going to have Quas trying to formulate something up top. He's being very risky. They got the wards for this, but they're not really getting too much out of it.
Yeah, they were hoping to catch Helios, knowing he had that kill as well. Don't want to let him snowball early. They want to be able to get eyes on Helios before he hits level 6, so they can predict where that deadly gank comes from.
Talked a little bit about that yesterday, actually, when we saw it was Dominate on it. Be in the face of that Rengar.
Dominate had some great Rengar ganks at level 6. He did the cooldown reduction Rengar build as well, got out a lot of ganks, got Curse out to a great early lead, but they just weren't able to make plays after the fact. So he swept the ward, but he still gave his vision away, or his position away. There's really not much he can do, which is why it was a good ward by Quas, regardless of if it gets swept or not.
Get what they need. It actually buys quite a bit of time for the knowledge of bottom lane, or at least Helios now, to make the moves. Now a forward ward placed again, so as Helios comes back around, Dominate's going to know they're on the bottom side of the jungle.
Voyboy game. It's all about keeping vision control.
Thought they were going to help bottom lane, but it's just a pink ward. Curse now wants to start making sure that Helios does not enter anymore.
Huh.
What a nice Orianna.
Yeah, helping him out with red.
The easiest jungle buff taker. I'll help you out.
Helios doing a very good job of, well, trying to keep Nunu's vision control at bay. But this gank is a little bit straightforward. It's a very simplistic gank path. Clearing the ward and then trying to run straight to it. He missed his bola.
Oh, it's still going to be Pobelter coming down quite quick. They get the stun on. Goes for the command shockwave. Very back and forth right now. A lot of communication coming down for the teleport. Voyboy gets hit, and Helios throws the ulti on for a possibility of an execute kill there. Does not get it, and Curse collapses onto this. They may even try to go for Dragon if they have the time.
Everyone ends up using their teleports right there. A little bit strange of a fight.
Too much of a part.
Jungler's on the collision course. And Pobelter without the damage to actually kill IWillDominate. Nunu's a pretty tanky dude. Especially when he's got all those extra little buffs he picks up from the jungle.
That's true. Something to forget about quite a bit.
He's got some of the highest base health in the game when you keep in mind his base health plus the health bonus he gets when he eats some of those tasty jungle creeps.
Still 1-1, both teams itching to draw more blood as we see them. A lot of focus just under the mid lane is where the vision control has kind of been the fight for it. Definitely trying to control the blue buff area of Pobelter, but not really getting a chance to hit it. We've only seen Helios in the jungle on the bottom side, really affecting where the red would be for a Curse. Not too many moves made that were acted on just yet. Still going to see what happens at this first dragon. Waiting for Helios to get 6, though. He does have it. Only had to use it in defense last time. Oh.
Ooh. Krepo pretty brazen. Look at the CS in this lane, actually. Altec and Krepo really starting to put the pain on. They're going with the static Shiv Trist. So they're going to look to keep Kog'Maw shoved in for quite some time, which would make them a little bit at risk to a Nunu gank in the back. Krepo continually jumping in.
Oh, man. Not too much damage, though. Good old Braum. Sightstone out for Krepo, but Sightstone also out for Dominate. We'll see if this kind of triggers them to start gaining more map control and put this composition kind of into play.
Yeah, Sightstone, and he still has an extra ward.
Yeah.
He's got wards for days. You can only have 3 on the map at once. But he's got them just in case.
This is where teamwork comes into play. You can see they already have a nice horseshoe right around mid, kind of capped on both sides with pink wards.
Good point. Gives Voyboy as much possible safety as he could get. They have that because even though Rengar can stealth gank, unless he's going straight up the mid lane, they're going to see it coming. They want to actually have wards in places where they can see the start of Helios' stealth. And the fact that they've been able to accomplish so many deep wards is quite impressive. So Helios would kind of just have to guess, go straight up a lane in order to get a gank off. Krepo goes really aggressive here.
Very, very hard. They do get the concussive blows lockdown. Nice job by Xpecial. Very low mana on Krepo. I don't know if he can hit out another Winter's Bite, and they choose to turn on this one. So Summoners use just Krepo's right there, and the flash from Kop. So they can still return fire pretty well here. If they get in range, the bubble hits. Dominate's going to lock it down. He will not take the turret damage, so Kop has to back off, but they're still going to get out.
Oh, the stun
not clean at all, actually. The heal comes out there. Altec still wants to go hard. They have Pobelter on the top side. You also have Helios coming on the back. That's going to be Xpecial going down. The Bolo max range. He almost hits another one. That's the kill onto Kop. What an EG turnaround. They're going to come away with this and Dragon.
The overdive there by Curse. They thought they punished Krepo for going over aggressive, but it ends up punishing themselves. And now EG can get the Dragon out of this too. An early game lead could be amazing in this one. So this move in itself was not good by Krepo. He was low on mana and he flashed in while really not having an advantage here. Curse can disengage this properly. And then Xpecial decides to turn on the counterattack because, hey, Dominate's on the way. Why not? He lands a great bubble onto the turret. But the big thing here is turrets on this patch do have increased damage, so Dominate gets pretty low, and in his dying breath, he lands a Q onto IWillDominate, and then Altec was able to get the stun procced afterwards, and then this is just chase right here. Helios tries his damnedest to stealth in, jumps onto a minion just so he can land it, misses the second one actually, which could have been a kill. But at the end of the day, it was more than enough. 2 kills onto Altec Tristana and the Dragon.
Great thinking, fast play by Altec to flash into the brush, keep vision on the whole fight. Everybody comes out nice and rich on that one. About 1,000 gold lead in the favor of Evil Geniuses now. Dragon goes in their favor as well, so we'll see that coming back up around just before 19 minutes. And EG has the idea. So all these wards paying off for Curse in the mid lane. Actually, all the action going on in the bottom lane. So we'll have to see if they try to shut down Altec now, because the Trist is going to get going early. It's a pretty scary thing.
And it's interesting how Curse is the one with the protect the Kog'Maw composition. So if Kog'Maw doesn't get farmed, it's really, really bad. because that's the thing they are supposed to be protecting, which puts more emphasis on EG's bottom lane success, or even Curse's success for that matter. Hence all the roaming. EG's red was stolen away, so they want to steal Curse's. Who got it?
Oh my god, he got it!
Smited away. No, he got smited away.
He got smited and he blasted too to make sure he had every bit of damage he could just at the end. Very nice job. Again, causing Helios' ultimate to go off in defense. It's a short cooldown. He'll be able to use it again, no problem.
He's going for damage Rengar too.
Yeah.
None of this tank Rengar.
Brutalizer.
Helios wants to kill people. They got tankiness with Innox in their mind.
We haven't actually even seen Innox come into play yet. 125 to 117 in that top lane. Not doing too bad for those guys. We haven't really paid him a visit, and we don't have to. It's the top lane.
At this point, Innox doing all right, though, against Quas here. We said Mundo was a pretty big matchup against Lulu, and the reason is Lulu just cannot kill Mundo. It's just not possible. A lot of what Lulu can do is slowly harass out some of the other tanky top laners, which is why she's such a great pickup there, as well as adding some teamfight utility. But just not Mundo. You just can't move him.
So, not an overwhelming lane for Pobelter here, 144 to 146. Down in CS, he's got an assist from a bit of the roam, but has not taken out Voyboy probably as much as he wanted to. Very safe play from the heal. Kills out that kill pressure a little bit. And Voyboy, we saw him playing so far back, and still is.
Yeah, he has to respect the Rengar. It's one of those things. They should actually have the timer on his ultimate from the gank bottom lane, at least in a general sense, so he should know that a little bit, but that only comes with a lot of playing against Rengar, and he's been banned so long in North American LCS, these guys haven't had the time against him. It'll come.
Not the guy you want to forget that's in the game when you're trying to start a fight.
Yeah. It happens so many times. You get a kill in the mid lane, you're like, all right, and then all of a sudden,
just jumps out of nowhere,
got Rengar.
Eats your face.
That's a great ward. Hello.
It's just one of those, oh man, situations. Pobelter's going to be seen out by this, and they know he's taking the long way home. What a fast push. We get it. He's trying to actually just take it down. What do they want to get roam on this, maybe?
He can get it.
He's definitely going to get it.
Yeah.
Throws on the ult, says I'm going to take down top turret. So now Quas can possibly put pressure somewhere else on the map here. We'll see what they decide to do with this. Innox is going to be staying in that top lane. We'll probably get a bit more farm in there. 1:50 on Dragon will be the use of those teleports. We see finally the Golem Spirit built up for Dominate. And the Wriggles finished up there for Helios finally in his jungle. Start stacking it.
Interesting, actually. A lot of junglers don't upgrade into Wriggles until they're fully stacked on their Feral Flare. He's at 23 stacks. He needs 30 to transform that guy. But he will get the ward, and Vision is at a pretty big premium this game. With the Dragon up in 1 minute and 20 seconds. That should be the next battlefield.
Looks like EG is definitely putting a little priority on roam, especially for Krepo. Swifty boots for him coming out on Braum.
Huh.
A little different in the bottom lane.
Trying to run through the Glitterland slows of Lulu.
Yeah.
Swifty boots not the most common choice. I do like them in general, though. I think they're a somewhat underpurchased boot. Especially when he's got his shield on it. Will give him a lot of in-fight mobility.
Oh, man. Yeah, your extra speed there.
As far as in-combat speed, the Boots of Swiftness is as fast as you can get.
It's a good-looking boot.
Yeah.
I'd wear it.
White does get dirty pretty easily, though.
That's true. Gotta watch out for that. Just clean it in the river.
Yeah. Good point.
Grabbing this vision control. That'll help a little bit. They set more up. 30 seconds on the Dragon. Looks like the needlessly large rod pickup for both mid laners to have a nice little impact here. They also are both level 12.
Yeah, the lanes, as far as mid and top, have been very even as far as trading farm.
Yeah.
The action has been in the bottom lane because generally that's what the team comps are built around. If Kog'Maw doesn't succeed, Curse will not succeed. So that is really where all the action has been drawn to this game.
Well, that lead is still there for Altec at 130 CS to his 166. He's got the highest lead in the game for a deficit against his lane, I should say.
But with a Trinity Force, Cop has the potential for more success in this fight as Altec. It will depend on how well he can position himself for this damage, because there's a lot of threat coming here. A full Ferocity Rengar But at this point, pulling the Dragon would put them in a disadvantage. He kind of wants Innox to be able to walk down, but he could teleport if he needs to.
This becomes
there he goes, trying to hit the pink board.
Quite difficult engagement for Curse now.
Yeah.
They don't really have anything but a walk-in. Xpecial would have
wants
to hit
to
a
just
perfect
rush
ultimate.
this Dragon down. They're really forcing Curse into coming in or get a hard initiation. Pobelter would have to land a stun at this point. ED taking a lot
Shields
of poke
down,
damage.
double bubble, gets kicked away. Oh, Dominate! He knobs on the Dragon. The ultimate goes onto him coming in from Pobelter. That's a lot of damage to be used on a big tank, leaving the rest of the damage dealers on Curse quite healthy after they take the Dragon. They have lost one. Oh my god! Ha ha! Pull, shoot, takes him down.
I don't know about that call from EG, going for that Dragon in that sense. Grouping up at a Dragon against an Orianna is really tricky, especially when Dominate can get into a Smite Consume War with your jungler and most likely steal it. Lucky to only have a 1-for-1 there, but they did lose the Dragon. And in a sense, they give up some of their advantage.
It was a fight that definitely put EG into a tight corner of what do we do? Because what did they use? They used on Pobelter, or I'm sorry, on Dominate, they used Pobelter's ult. Altec tried to Buster shot him away, and he still stole it. And then you have no ults to fight with. Very interesting bit of chaos there.
I mean, we got to take another look at this one. It's just a 5v5 Dragon Force without solid initiation is just kind of asking for trouble, you know? They get Bubble onto 2. They do Buster Shot him, but he gets it with the Smite, not even the Consume. Yeah. But then when the fight actually begins...
And he gets his ult.
What is up with the positioning? How do they do this? Well, only by the grace of God, all the damage got dumped into Innox with a bunch of other viable targets. Curse doesn't end up cleaning up this fight, so... Almost jumped back to try to dodge the ball.
So close.
If there is a benefit to take out of that from EG, was that the one kill they did get went back on Altec, and he did complete his Infinity Edge.
That is a big tryst, and that is a huge 2-item spike, especially for 20 minutes. Let's see if he can get himself right as rain. Check where he's at. Level 3 on his rapid fire, so he actually got more gold than he had to time that level up to level 5 on his Q. It's about 1,000 gold ahead as well, so that's what they're looking to save. If Helios can make the right plays and they can get to the right positions, Altec to jump in and jump out is really the plan here. But both teams kind of have a lack of initiation. It's all just walk up to a line and see who makes the first mistake.
Oh, come on. They're going back for it.
Lots of pings. So Curse trying to regain their jungle back now. Let's see if they can do it. Bottom lane already being affected here. Very interesting.
So some map pressure being continually applied here by EG. Voyboy's going to have to get a lot of ability power to make himself into a viable threat here. The Lulu Orianna Nunu is very supportive or utility-based combo. It can pump out some good damage, but it needs a lot of ability power.
I'm just looking at what Helios is finally coming out with now. Ghost Blade, and he's finished the Flare. I'm sure Voyboy is pretty scared. He'd love to turn that into a Rabadon's, and he does. I was going to say he's going to turn it into a Zanya's, but now he needs to make these plays count.
He needs the damage.
He does, yeah.
Helios as well. It's a very aggressive build here. You see most Rengars go tank because when they jump in, they need to be able to survive a little bit, and they're about the initiation power and the catching power. If Curse just groups up, the damage Rengar build won't actually be that good because they can very easily turn and kill him. The Ghostblade Pharaoh Flare build is when you catch people split pushing, so Helios will need to seek out and destroy stragglers in here. It really just shows that EG is probably going to be going for a split push type strategy for a while now and trying to catch Curse running back and forth.
Well, they definitely have the wards for you here on this bottom side of the jungle. Continuously back and forth, Dominate and Krepo going on this ward game. Altec moves up. They should have enough to take down this turret. Actually, with the wards, they see that they are in a bad position. This is going to allow them to stay safe. Teleport is up actually for Quas here, but that would leave top turret in a very bad position with Innox taking it down. So it's hopefully a 4v4. Kite, not fight, coming in for Curse.
Yeah, it feels like EG is a little bit afraid of this 4v4. I think it would be a pretty close fight, but it's all about whether Helios could get a good initiation. If he gets caught, It is very, very bad. No catches, though, with the teleport burn. And now Innox is all alone. Xpecial's got to land something good here.
Yeah. He's going to be able to get that top turret.
Tidal wave.
Innox
Worried about the
teleport is actually up. Innox is going to teleport in the backside of the fight. He's going to be right in the middle of the fray. He comes in. Voyboy is going to be the first to be taken down. They did not expect to see a Mundo coming in. Krepo has taken a lot of damage again. And somehow, Curse has microed themselves in and out here. Innox to be the last one down. They completely save face on this. A Cathian surprise is going to help drop Innox in this fight. And it goes over to Quas. What a turnaround with Innox coming in late on the fight.
Yeah, Altec bailed on that fight pretty early on, actually. A good initiation there by Curse at the end of the day because they did head off where EG was heading. I mean, the late teleport in, they put down a ward for the sole purpose of teleporting, and EG says, let's get out of here. At this point, it was about Xpecial wanting to land a tidal wave versus Krepo wanting to block it. Pobelter flashed a little bit backwards, which kind of screwed EG over here. Shockwave does catch Krepo. Tidal Wave zones out a little bit, but mainly just watch the development of this fight. Innox is so strong that they can't kill him. If Altec would have played a little bit more carefully along the outside of this fight, they may have been able to clean some stuff out because he bailed.
What?
And then Innox takes another 20 seconds to die.
Nunu had no mana.
There wasn't a huge amount of threat. It would have been Quas's Glitter Lances and whether Altec could dodge them that would decide that fight. But game continues, it's even in gold, and EG wants this dragon again. It's going to be about securing it.
Not seeing him jump away kind of confused me of how that fight quickly just went back the other way, but it is as it is. And we see Dragon now going over to Evil Geniuses. They gain control even more on the map, now with 1,000.2 gold lead in their favor.
Old sound.
Cleaned up.
So Kog'Maw has a recurring death sound. We're going to move the camera so we don't hear that real quick.
So seeing the turret almost cooked down, lots of parties from Kog'Maw. Probably see him die one more.
I don't want to hear it
back
again.
up. Cutlass being built up by him. Once he gets that, he's actually not going for the Infinity Edge right away. So he wants to go for just the attack speed, tear through the HP of Innox, who's already going to give him the help on that when he builds his health up. A very interesting game formulated.
This game is really fascinating right now. Innox proved how strong he was in that last fight. There is only one Ignite on the entire Curse team to try and deal with Innox, and even when Kog'Maw gets a little bit fed, he will be doing a large proportion of magic damage. Now, Innox is already sitting at 174 magic resist. Very, very, very difficult person to calm down.
He needs those kind of initiations, though. That was perfect for Evil Geniuses if they were able to keep staying in the fight.
Yeah, Pobelter really got messed up badly in that one. If Pobelter can help take out or even get a good amount of damage on a Cop, Innox would run wild in those fights. Just knowing how well Altec is powering up, but he still needs more time on Trist. He needs another big item.
Yeah, one more for him. It actually looks like he threw some. Maybe he's gonna get a Blade of the Rune King.
It's that squishy Rengar if he gets caught around the side. It's bad news.
Curse working the wards very well. It pays off for them. Little return on investment. Dominate continues to take the cleavers for the team. He can just walk off, consume some side camps, get himself back up to health. Very good play by them. Walking it in. They're going to go ahead and take this turret quite easily as Curse takes a little bit of ground back for themselves here in the game. Almost evening the game up, just within 300, 400 gold.
And if we talk about these close games, EG usually loses them. They are not sticking together very well. Helios gets caught out of position. They do not have ward control around the Baron Pit. Curse is looking to exploit them a little bit. They cancel their recalls. They're going on this with the Nunu Cog. They kill it really, really fast.
Altec on the outside. They got the ult out. Dodges a bubble as well.
Oh, he
the
found
aquatic
him.
life is quite easy for him. Xpecial taking damage on the outside. It looks like they quickly force Curse off of that call.
Scrying Orb by Altec.
Yep. Oh, he bought that a long time ago. He loves to get that super early.
And then just some slick dodging. Tidal Wave, Bubble, all without burning
living
summon.
artillery. He knows what he's doing.
All credit to Altec there.
Well, he's got the alacrity, helping him out. A little speed on the boots.
EG's bottom lane really wanting to move fast in this game.
That's true. Thinking of Krepo's too.
Early. I mean, it shows positioning is very important against a team as fast as Curse right now. Move speed boosts on all of their supportive characters.
Yeah.
Kog'Maw will be a very, very fast Void puppy at the end of the day. Blood Boil. Quas can speed them up. Voyboy speeds them up with Dissonance. And all of Xpecial spells will provide a move speed boost as well.
Gotta love getting free stats. Well, I guess it's not free. They're using their ability.
It actually kind of, that move speed advantage was seen best in the last fight that Curse won, where they teleported in without really being in engagement range, but then was still able to chase them down.
Holy macaroni. Dominate needing the shield to get out of that one, but they get a lot blown off. Pobelter's ultimate, it'll be up before Dominate's flash though. But yeah, that Ignite going down.
They were only within 900 health of killing him. Not ideal.
EG's trying to make the moves. Here, there, they try a little bit. Maybe Curse can act off of this. But EG's early to mid game is usually pretty solid. It's towards that late game, like you were saying, where they start to falter, stretch themselves a little too far to try to get those types of kills. And now next fight, they might be without that Ignite and all.
This Tristana, though, we've seen a couple complexity games where Tristana gets a little crazy. He's sitting on 2,300 or so gold right now. Whew. 2,500.
Scary time to fight if they do. Definitely needs to go back and spend that gold, but they may not have a chance. Once again, pressured, maybe put into a fight here they don't want to fight.
With Curse building pretty much no armor, it would be an opportunity now for Altec to go a Blade of the Ruin King or a Bloodthirster instead of his Last Whisper and try and do larger amounts of damage on the carries. We'll have to see. He needs the time to shop even, and they lose a lot of map pressure when he goes away.
You should know he can do that. Sometimes it's hard to predict as an AD carry when you're like, I'll get that item, and then you see an armor come in on the other side.
This is super tricky, though. Innox is down bottom. They do not have vision control at the Baron pit. Look at those wards by Curse. So he is making sure he doesn't get seen recalling, because if Curse knows he goes away or even guesses he goes away, they can basically get Baron. And they go as soon as he goes away. Great guess. They're hoping for a bait.
Party time.
And that's not going to do much.
Whew. Big shot coming out of Cop. Just that was one Bio-Arcane Barrage activated. You can see Innox actually starts trailing up as well off of the map from Quas. He might be trying to get a teleport in here if something comes in.
Bloodthirster as well for Altec.
Farm that lane. Very nice. Seeing as the last situation in the fight for him, he wasn't really that affected, and once Nunu's hitting him, he can pretty much still take down Nunu.
Yeah, there's almost no armor on IWillDominate.
Right.
You should be able to shred through it.
All right, so good pickup from Evil Geniuses here.
Take a while. I don't know if he's going to get that one.
At least they're keeping their mind in the game to keep the gold going. If it's not going to affect their hold in middle and they can keep this vision here without having to stretch thin for Baron vision, I mean, hey.
But does he have to leave now? Because Curse is just playing really dangerous mind games. Or rather, EG is playing really dangerous mind games. Curse is so afraid to start the Baron, though. They're very afraid of getting collapsed on. It's causing them to take overly cautious measures here. They have the move speed. They could just rush into EG. But they have chosen not to here, and it cost them the Dragon.
It's always this second tier turret. If it's up in mid and Baron's up, you're either being forced to go for Baron or they're driving down middle to take that second tier turret. Back and forth again, now back for the Baron. If Curse can really get a good move here, they're going to have a minion wave reset in mid. They should maybe be able to push down mid.
Very tense.
EG's peeling off, but Curse is following too much. They're not going to be able to go. It's actually going to be Altec that pushes that wave down middle. So EG now kind of have the ring around going. Tunnel vision from Curse to the top side, and there may be some good damage on the turret as Voyboy recalls himself to mid here.
Altec.
Try and stop it.
He's got to run really fast. Okay, Quas takes the safe route back. So much safety here by Curse. If he would have came through the river, then they could have gotten the kill, so.
There you go. That was close. 33 on the clock. We'll see if Curse can continue to push down mid. This bottom slash top laners, 277 to 294, 301 and 112. We've seen a few plays come from these guys.
And the farm differential between the AD carries is becoming immense.
Oh gosh.
There's multiple times in this game where I want to say that Curse should have gone with the more aggressive route. but they have gone with the passive route on every occasion.
It's like every lane, we were talking about every lane kind of did well for both sides as they came out because nobody really tried to do anything. It only happened when Helios or Dominate were involved in the mix, and then only a few people died, and the massive amount of kills have only come from Dragon objectives. So these teams are definitely a little weary about even facing each other, which, you know, could result in an 80-minute game.
And there's a really strange dance as far as what Curse is approaching this week, as far as mindsets go.
Yeah.
They jumped into pole position of 6th place and making the playoffs amongst the bottom 3 teams. And then they're just playing EG in Complexity this week, and they had the opportunity to solidify their spot, really, and maybe even start attacking some of the top teams. But if they go 0-2 here, it's going to be tricky. Their team comp is still quite good. This game could really go either way. But Quas is spending a lot of time in that top lane, and that Baron is not going to be up for much longer.
Got vision on it. Living artilleries are coming down. Curse needs to start pressuring a little bit more. Krepo way too far in front of the fight. Can the gap be closed? Get a good ultimate onto Pobelter in the back line. He's not providing any assistance here. The Randuin goes off, but Voyboy was a little too close. Quas takes a full ultimate coming in.
Triple.
And he's able to get himself out for Pobelter. A good hit. He uses the wild growth, but there's way too much EG on the fight right now. The quadra kill coming in for Altec in 8-0-1. It was only a matter of time.
Altec doesn't even look too happy about that one. He almost had his 2nd pentakill in a single split of the LCS, but EG destroyed Curse right there. This time they peeled off, and they realized how strong Altec was. Krepo doesn't care. Easy game, easy life at this point for Krepo, because they're going to be getting this Baron real soon. But what a fight that was for EG. Altec is an absolute monster, because no one on Curse has armor. That's one of the biggest things that created success for them in that fight.
Insane. You're just talking about Curse needing this win.
Yeah.
Not looking good if that continues to happen. Altec, again, out of the laning phase, just becomes a Titan instantly.
Yeah, just looking at this fight, it looked like Krepo got over aggressive. Yeah. But remember, Quas wasn't here, and his teleport's only going to be so fast. Altec actually charged up max shield off the Baron, so he's hard to touch. And just watch how quickly he shreds through people. Dominate, a couple hits. Helios jumps in. No one can focus him because everyone's running away from Altec. 2 shots Voyboy, 3 shots Cobb. If it wasn't for a bump from Xpecial, it would have been a clean
he flashed it.
penta here.
The whole team had the kills, but he flashed it.
He was literally a half second off of being able to get that penta if the ball from Pobelter didn't finish off Lulu there. Good lord.
Oh, how he does it.
Now
so
things
consistent.
are really bad. Better be buying that chain vest to IWillDominate. They need a little bit more.
Yeah, Locket of the Iron Solaria is not going to keep you safe right now. Double buffed, Altec moving up the mid lane with the rest of his team. Looks like they are pretty dead set on taking this mid turret now that they have themselves a Baron. And only Krepo does not have that for his little mishap.
May as well call Altec triple buff too, because he's got the Baron buff.
Yeah.
Keeping in combat as well to make that Bloodthirster shield. Keep in mind it is a 440 health shield if he keeps it max. So even though his health bar reads 2200, he is sitting at around 2600 effective health there.
There would have to be some serious mishaps for EG to throw this one away right now. 4.5 items, that's 1.5 above what Kopp is even presenting in his inventory right now. These guys should be able to walk right through this front fight, and Curse is giving the respect to the damage that EG can bring to the table. Kopp needs 3 or 4 members just to put a dent in Innox there, and he can still ult up.
Oh, lots of stuns.
That's scary. You didn't have an Altec in range. That's the only reason he got out alive.
Yeah, a little bit miscoordination there by EG, but they get the inhibitor without suffering a casualty. They're just going to try and move through the rest of these outer turrets while they realize how strong Altec is. And this is the thing. If you're going to run a protect the Kog'Maw composition, if your Kog'Maw doesn't succeed as you are on Curse, it's going to fall flat on its face here.
Right. They got it. It works with Nunu. It works with the ball protection, with the added health of Lulu. But like you said, if it doesn't come together, EG getting an early level 2, pushing in Kopp in the bottom lane. Almost 200 CS ahead right now, and that has always been a lead for Altec throughout the game. Very patient play for Evil Geniuses, knowing that the late game team would just come into play. Especially helps when Altec's 8-0-1.
Yeah. Oh, where Innox can tank these turret shots without care.
Yeah.
Mundo has about 270 health regen per 5 seconds with the Baron buff combined. But that was a couple nice shots there by Cop. Curse might look to make a little bit of aggression.
This is where they need to hit it, chat. They cannot afford to falter here. EG needs to start picking up wins. A lot better play coming from the players themselves. See Innox, like we were saying, taking up turrets, being a beast right now. He was loving carry champions. Always playing the Jax, always playing the Nidalee in the top lane when he could. Switching it up to the utility is keeping himself a very good person to have on the team. A variable champion.
Really haven't touched that turret though. Another minion wave falls shy. They need to find a new plan here. You can't stick around that many waves and not make progress.
Altec's not even in range to get this. They do take down a turret in the bottom lane, but they're still working to get into the base. The first one they just hit, they're able to walk right in. Are they really just going to need Baron to do it again? They got to find another way in.
They could continue to farm up for a bit more gold. Their itemization could get there. I mean, they spent so long with that Baron buff looking at that turret. It's gone now, as you said.
Yeah.
Dragon is up, obviously.
And they almost have nothing to farm. Everything's pushed.
Yeah, true. Only this Kog'Maw will slowly be catching up to what Altec has become.
Yeah, a little breathing room.
The gold difference between Altec and Cop is a little bit monstrous right now. 18,000 to 12,700 as far as AD carry farm is concerned.
That's what it looks like when you put a team on your back. With the assistance of your team, of course.
Once Cop gets an Infinity Edge with Blood Boil and with the Lulu picks on top of him, his damage potential will be just as good, if not greater, than what Altec can put out.
He's still looking to hit his spike. That's kind of the scary thing. We haven't really seen it just yet. And the Mikhail's Crucible we saw keeping Dominate safe in the last catch, which could have meant the end of the game. Just previously at that middle inhibitor turret, so that's coming into play very big. The Mercurial Scimitar finished up nicely for Altec. So rich, he can keep himself safe. And look at Innox, Warmogs as well, on top of his Randuins and Banshees. These guys are able to put just excessive items under their belts now as they move into the base. 12,000 gold in the lead. EG is looking very dominant, but again, scary when they get to the base. Why can they not get through the front? Another minute and 15 on Baron. It might be the way they need to get back through the front door of Curse.
Yeah, they're going to pick their moments. I really think it has to do with that next Baron. For now, they're just farming with Altec, making sure he's wearing buffs. He's got a red. They could take another siege at this middle inhibitor as it's respawned, but without the Baron, it's a little higher risk.
Ooh.
And that's even without the Eye Edge. That's the help picks. The Nami slow on top of it as well. There's a lot of things that make this Kog'Maw even more scary, despite not having success this game.
Curse. Slight good push on the side lane so they can keep all 5 members mid here, but they are going to be pressured. Ward coverage is being gained by Krepo. EG kind of prioritizing where they need to be, what they need to foreshadow for themselves. And with that pink ward just chilling up at Baron, Curse is going to know when they need to make a move. They're going to be seen pretty much the whole way up by these security wards. They have a chance.
Yeah, Baron would fall really fast. I think Curse just gives it up.
Yeah.
They're being smart about this. They probably couldn't even run there if they wanted to at this point.
I bet you could run there. They get there. It'd be very late.
They get there after the fact.
So EG's taking down Baron. Easy peasy for them. Second one of the game, 4 out of 5 Dragons. Again, another game where Curse does not prioritize the objectives in the game, getting themselves into that position, or just didn't have the chance at the time. But EG has gained a very big gold lead due to objectives. That lane of Altec in the bottom, and just completely controlling the map.
Yeah, so in general, what they do, Altec just sold the static ship for Phantom Dancer, more endgame DPS from that item.
Right.
And also bought elixirs. Everyone on EG wants to spend as much of their gold as absolutely possible right now.
Buyout.
Because the next push should be the final one. So they should be getting elixirs across the board if they haven't. You can see a blue elixir is on Pobelter. A blue and a red elixir is on Altec. So they're really just trying to power up for this final push.
Hopefully it can
What
be.
should be the final.
What should be.
14,000 gold lead.
They could just be staring at each other again once they make it to the front of the base. This inhibitor waiting to go down once again. And knowing that damage that Kop just did, we'll see how hesitant Krepo or Helios is to really get themselves into this fight. 1,000 damage, 1,064 out of 2 shots coming from crits on Altec. You do not want to be hit by that. Banshee's Veil's being popped on one side. So EG can get past the inhibitors. That's quite nice, but can they hit a turret first?
He just used Helios' ultimate. It's not ideal. Could have used that for an initiation under the turret. But look at how fast it's going down. They're
rapid fire's on. Very easy. Krepo taking a lot of turret shots, but they get it to go down. And I don't think it's going to be a re-engage here.
Whoa!
Hey-yo! Zany's plays all week long. Be sure to tip your waitress. Oh, what a shockwave! Pobelter to the living artillery! Another one from Kop, possibly on the backside. He's looking at that final range of his living artillery, so they're trying to get all the deeps in that they can to end this one. The Voyboy to slow it. He gets taken down again in midair as he goes for a leap. And they may not continue to chase this. They got to get things pushed. They got to regroup.
Riv, we talked before the game about Pobelter being a wild card.
That was pretty wild, if you ask me.
That was not what he wanted to do. He wanted to flash in alt and then Zanya's. His order of operations all mixed up there. It ends up not really working out for EG. So they did get the turret down, and then they were hoping for the game-ending fight here. If you're going to flash in, he was looking to catch Voyboy. He's stunned Voyboy, and he's like, all right, I can flash alt. It has happened to the best of us. But that time, he just gets completely messed up afterwards. Altec then doesn't have the front line standing in front of him, and they have to bail out. Kop untouched. Voyboy still there to shoot.
Oh my gosh. There's so much speed up and control once they're chasing you with whimsy and dissonance.
The important thing is they exposed the second inhibitor, though.
That is true. But you can see how easily they took the middle inhibitor, so now they have another chance at it with Baron being down. Can hang out on the bottom side of the map all you want. 45 minutes in, EG making a few dents on the base, but Curse is still showing life in this game, and if a fight goes drastically wrong, it could easily sway the other way to EG's inhibitors being down.
And something we have to point out as well, Riv, is that Infinity Edge that got completed by Kop. Even though he's not at full offensive items, he's got a Zeal on the way for even more attack speed coming in. He's getting pretty scary. He's getting to a point where Innox will not be able to withstand the barrage of Kog'Maw.
Innox hasn't really built too much armor. You see him putting the chain vest in now. He went for HP before.
The thing about Kog'Maw is there's not you can't really itemize against him. Bioarcane Barrage is magic damage. It's doing a percentage of your max health. And his base autos are still pretty potent. You just got to build everything in synchrony. And then you still die.
Hope it's the right time and the right place. Good block out. Look at this poke, though. EG's taken half health now to Krepo and already shots onto Altec. He can heal himself up. Krepo, not so much at this point. He's also running distortion boots to keep himself on those Swifties, using his summoners ASAP. 47 minutes in, EG back on the front step here as they pepper Curse's second inhibitor turret to go down.
Did EG mess up their chance will be the question here. Kop has become very scary, and EG looks a little skittish to make it in here. Altec can still blow people up, but it's a matter of if he can stay safe in the process. There's a lot of stuff that can kill him as well. If he gets too close, going with an incredibly offensive Tristana build.
This movement speed along with the shields, even the movement speed itself, if they didn't have the shields, they're making it so hard to organize around where Kop can be. A few shots in. They can't even get themselves in for a few shots on the inhibitor. Altec gets it on to Dominate. And we're going to see them start to pressure. There goes the tidal wave out. Innox is going to be hit up. He'll use his ultimate. Should be all right. A few more. It's not going to take him down. Krepo puts himself down with Unbreakable, as he says quickly, stand behind me.
Whew. That was a close call, one would say. Altec just barely... He's not even the one that finished it, actually. It was Innox who managed to end the inhibitor's life at the end of that. But you can see that they need to hurry things up a little bit.
It's getting pretty stressful.
Yeah.
It's a little tense for both teams. Somehow, looking at 48 minutes in, 5:26 for Altec, farming Beast right there.
But we're getting to that point where the gold doesn't matter. Sure, it's a 15,000.
Yeah, he's itemed out. He just sold his boots.
Altec has been maxed for a while.
He just bought his boots.
decided against an upgrade. He resold them. A lot of AD carries at this point want to go with the Zephyr at the end of the game, but for Tristana, it's not necessarily beneficial because he would lose move speed overall, going from Alacrity, Berserker Greaves, from a Zephyr. And he's also incredibly close to his max attack speed just because of how much attack speed Rapid Fire gives him. So he doesn't actually need the Zephyr. It's arguably a decrease in effectiveness in this particular instance. What would be an increase in damage is if he sold the boots for something like a Phantom Dancer and upped his crit chance even more so. Another Phantom Dancer. But that's it's a long-term plan.
What about a second Infinity Edge?
Hey.
I've heard some people do that.
Really take him down. It would be a lot of damage at this point.
Let's see.
Attack speed to support it.
Let's see what 50-minute mark brings us here.
Altec.
Altec. Troll Porton. Live Baron. No contest once again coming in from Curse on this one, as would it be expected. They held it off once before. Can they hold it off again? Obviously, now we have Cop a little bit stronger. So
this is the more difficult one. So EG's going to have to cycle the middle inhibitor again. It's going to respawn shortly. Then they're going to have to hope for the big waves of super minions. I feel like we've been through this song and dance before a few times in the past days, but it's really difficult if you can get 2 inhibitors down to hold that third turret because the power of the super minions is so great. It's going to be about EG trying to get this inhibitor down. This one is actually really important for Curse to defend. They're not putting up a very good defense right now.
Voyboy should just keep his ball out on the front line here. Really deter the entire team of a shockwave. So look at now they have to stand around it.
They're not, I don't think they can defend this. It's really important that they do though.
Giving up a little too much room. Shots coming in from the backside. Altec able to hit that with his long range now of level 18 Tristana. Outranging just about everybody on the map besides their skill shots. Top lane pushed in now as EG needs to end this stranglehold they have onto Curse, or Curse is going to lash out very soon.
And this is the point in games which is very, very rarely come back from. 2 inhibitors down while pushing the third. Unless Curse can win a team fight right now.
That's going to be huge shots coming in from Cop. He's hesitating a little bit though. He's only hit a few. Waiting for that return of Pobelter, knowing the Zanyas is there. They're very afraid of the front line.
Even when they fight for half a second, the minions take down their Nexus turrets.
That bit of tunneling there on the fight, in which they needed to do, cost them their Nexus turret. Very tight fight coming in here. Curse has to make the right decisions. They just had a minion wave spawn 10 seconds ago, so they have a bit of time to buy here. Zanyas goes out, and they cannot finish Pobelter. Altec gets a few kills for himself. He's alive with full HP. The triple kill for Altec. He sees the Penta in his eyes. Can he outdo Cop? The sustain is there. Another shot. Cop doesn't have it. Yeah, he does. He gets the Bio Arcade Barrage last shot on. He's going to get the kill, but that's going to be the end of the game. The Nexus is going down in favor of Evil Geniuses. They stop the 6-game bleeding streak, and they're able to pick up a win over Curse at 51 minutes. There's a sigh of relief from Krepo as well.
And Riv, this makes things very interesting. Near the bottom of the NA LCS standings right there. EG, off the back of Altec's immense Tristana right here, was able to pull out the win. A lot of relief to end the losing streak that long. And then a lot of sadness on the side of Curse. Coming into a week and then having this type of performance. Even with 3 white shirts, who would have thought?
Yeah, a new one to come out today. The confidence of Curse has been growing by leaps and bounds. Shut down a little bit there. After a 3-1 Super Week, they're brought to 0-2 on Week 8. Very difficult and long games that they have to go back and watch, but in all honesty, EG's as well. They do grab the lead, but the closing out point is something that needs a little refining for them.
Of course. They made some mechanical mistakes, which is much easier to remedy than strategic mistakes. They could have ended that game much earlier if Pobelter wouldn't have done the infamous Flash Zanyas play at the bottom of the base. Hey, other than that, they could have done it.
Everybody tries to get the game ended there. You think you got it. You go a little too hard.
I also liked the end of the game where Altec had the triple, so he decided to jump into Kog'Maw and was like, he's made a huge mistake.
He's like, I don't want the second one to get away from me.
He had a Lulu right next to him, and there was no one there to help Altec. But a quadra kill and a triple kill in the same game. That Trist play, when the whole thing of Curse was protect the Kog'Maw, to come out and then be an 11-1 Trist, It's a nice little performance there by Krepo and Altec.
And it's a different game of threats that EG was able to play. We came out thinking that it was going to be this huge damage Rengar to get ball or get Pobelter stunned, and then he would come in and kill. And then we hardly saw anything coming from Helios after that. Not his fault. It's just Altec stole the show. They didn't know who to stop, and they still had the scare of a Rengar coming out of nowhere to start that fight. Great job on the teleports as well coming in from Innox in the fights. They were very well timed. A little bit of miscommunication in the early game, and that's usually what has put EG pretty much under for the whole game. But they were able to turn it around this time and kind of mend those mistakes.
Breaking that 6-game losing streak should go a long way for their hopes here. And this just, like I said earlier, it makes things really interesting as far as the standings are concerned. Curse was looking to run away with that spot, especially because they were playing EG and Complexity this week. They've went 0-2 now. That means with a Complexity win, it's just getting crazy right here. We could be seeing Complexity in playoff position by the end of this week.
And we were just talking about Curse moving up to fight the top teams if they were to, or not be in range to fight the top teams if they were to get this win. It's very, very different. The parity is starting to kind of break up in the NA scene. The top teams, they're still holding the top, but they're also teams that are losing to the bottom. So expect a lot more to be switched up before the end of the split. Already seeing the EG kind of pulling themselves together now. It took them some time, but Altec somehow consistently, they got to put a focus on this guy for each game. For him to somehow carry his consistency to go double digits in kills with the lowest deaths all the time.
I think that's amazing. His third double-digit kill game this split. He missed the first game of the split. He's right up there with the other premier AD carries in North America on a last-place team, which isn't easy to do. You know, when you lose a lot, you generally don't get that many kills. But when they win, Altec gets a lot of them.
Right. If you're looking at Pobelter as a wild card, this guy's an always ace in the hole if you can really get him on a good AD carry. We've got a couple evil geniuses with Dash and Freak to give us the lowdown on their recent win.
Thanks, Riv. We want to welcome Altec and Pobelter to the desk and congratulate you guys on a very solid win there. How does it feel?
It feels really great, actually, to break that 6-game losing streak.
Well, one thing I want to ask you guys about immediately is that we saw the Rengar pick come out in the first round. So there was a lot of priority placed on that champion. And given the 4-11 changes, what was the reasoning behind taking it so early?
Okay.
Oh, dear God.
Go. Take turns. Your turn. Since Dominate played it yesterday and he did really well with it, and since it was left open, and he was probably the top jungler because Lee Sin was banned.
Okay. So just kind of like the strongest jungler you guys could pick up at that time. I do want to press you on 4-11 junglers a little bit because we've had a lot of patch changes in the recent past, and this is the first week you guys are playing a 4-11. Do you think the jungle pool stays the same, or is it just like, yep, Lee Sin, Eve, Elise, Rengar, and that's it?
I think it's still the same, but people are trying to try new junglers in solo queue right now. There's like Zac, Skarner, but it's not working out.
Okay, so far nothing's been working out for you guys. Do you think that your team's been adapting overall well? Because 4-10 was a bunch of big changes. Of course, AD carries got buffed. That was good for you, and you've done really well. 4-11 changed a lot more things. Turrets got stronger. Pobelter, do you think EG is keeping up with the times? Are you adapting better than other teams, worse than other teams? How do you feel like everyone's adapting to the new stuff?
I wouldn't say we're doing better or worse than any other team right now. I think we're adapting at the same rate pretty much. Even though our recent results haven't really suggested that, we've always been really close in a lot of our games to winning, and we also in scrims have done very well. And so that's kind of like the scrim curse, I guess. You do really well in scrims, and then when it comes to LCS, you just can't live up to it.
And well, that's the thing, though, is you guys are doing well in scrims, so we know you guys are a very, very good team. Do you think, actually, that just the fact that the game is changing around a little bit, that teams have to adapt? You guys have had roster changes multiple times now throughout this split. So having to deal with change so much yourselves, the fact that other teams have to change around with the game, do you think that helps you guys in terms of you guys have been adapting already?
I think that, well, the change itself hasn't really made us react better to the change in the game, but I think Helios has a unique perspective on some of the changes, and so he's able to provide a fresh insight onto what might be good and what might not be good. And so I think that gives us a bit of an edge.
Cool.
All right. Well, we want to jump right into the game. We're going to pull a replay up here in Altec. It's in the bot lane. It's about 11 minutes where you guys go 2 for 1. You end up taking the dragon off. If you could just walk me through this fight, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
If we can roll the clip right here. So Krepo flashed Q, but he missed, and we hit the ulti on Kop, and he stunned, and we just keep on going. So he flashed out, so we go on Xpecial here. And then Nunu's here, but I think...
Yeah, they dive Krepo.
Oh, kind of, yeah, it's where they dive.
Oh, they dive Krepo. I mistimed my heal, but since he got the Braum passive off, I got Dom right here, and then that reset my jump. And then Xpecial flashed out, and then we have Rengar and Syndra coming. I used Busted Shot as like a finisher, but it didn't work out. And then we were able to just pick them up because they had no flash from the previous dive.
At which point did you know the rest of your teammates were coming? Was that yelling, guys, they're ganking bottom, everyone show up? Or did you know, Pobelter and Helios come down on their own?
Since Nunu was there, we spot him on a ward, and then Helios is like, I'm coming. And then Pobelter's like that too. So
yeah, we just make the individual decisions to come down. It's a lot easier that way.
Yeah. So you guys all have the awareness to make that happen. That's good.
A little bit of a follow-up there. With that gold, you guys then went and took Dragon as well. We want to ask you about one of your buys. You start with Static Shiv, and we've seen a couple Tristanas do that. Can you kind of just explain the mindset behind that first buy?
Static Shiv allows you to wave clear a lot and just perma push, and that you just try to chip the tower every time. So when you do that, you can always get perfect CS. And basically, Shiv, if you get Shiv, it allows you to push faster and farm faster. And then once I get IE, it's like my power spike.
All right, well, fast forward to 34 minutes. We're going to pull another replay up. It's where you snag the Quadra, but Pobelter, I actually want you to do this replay because you're the one who takes the Penta away from him.
All right. So we're hitting Baron right here. The call is to just start the fight because we don't want Nunu to flash in and get a steal off. So we start charging at them. Krepo goes out a little early, but really he has to get the fight off. I only get hit by the Orianna ulti, so that's really good. And then we just start chipping away at their front line. Helios gets a really good bowl off onto Orianna, and we can pop him instantly. And then I'm chasing from the upside. Oh, jump gets cancelled there. And then from here, it's pretty much clean up. I missed my QE, so that's why I had to take the Penta, because I was afraid that Lulu would kill me right there with the Q. So yeah, I was like, sorry, but you know, I didn't want to end up dying just to give him the Penta.
It's okay. I understand when you kind of want to win a professional match, it's worth getting the kills as opposed to giving the fantasy points to teammates.
Yes.
So I get it. It's fine. So yeah, you guys ended up doing a really good job with that game, and you finally did start winning fights. But throughout the mid game, you guys were down in kills. You were up in gold from all the objective control. But how do you play a game where you know that they're out fighting you at the time, and like battles might not be going in your favor?
It's pretty much all about warding and objective control then if you can't like win the fight really straight up. So we were waiting on Tristana's core items before we were fighting. And so we were able to get like every dragon, I think, and it all snowballed off of Quas using his TP early to a ward to try and counter gank, and then Innox didn't. And so we had really good dragon control off of that tiny thing.
All right, final question here, Altec. The question is, sitting in 8th place, you got a great win under your belt. Now, how do you carry that momentum forward and work your way up the standings and hopefully, you know, vie for a playoff spot?
I think right now we just need to focus on just watching our games, see what we could have done better and what we did wrong, and just go on from there. Because right now we're on 8th, and we have to work our hardest to get out of relegation, try to go for playoffs.
All right, well, you got some footage to look at there. Hey, guys, I want to thank you for joining us on the desk. Congratulate you on the win. Best of luck this week studying up on that footage. And we're going to move onwards now. Don't go anywhere because we've got more games coming your way. After the break, we'll head back onto the Rift for Dignitas versus Counterlogic Gaming. Stay tuned.
Fight. Come on. Nice. I'm on Nunu. Just running at them. They're Randuins. I'm running to Cog. I'm just staying on Cog. We got Cog. Lulu. Finish. I cleaver in a second. Give me the Lulu's cleaver. Yeah. Give me the Penta. No. Okay, nice. Good job.